What's up? Strictly Fishness here. I wanted to give you guys a quick tour of some of my garage tanks. You can see here I have this rack with 340-gallon breeders. This is an African cichlid quarantine tank. I just got a bunch of them and I've since put them in other quarantine tanks of mine, depending on size and species. These are both African cichlids. So we have a sunshine peacock, and then there's a red cap and Buna. I have, basic filtration on here. I got the penguin, bio wheel, sponge filter, and then this new thing. I forget the name at the moment, but it's really cool. I'm gonna get some bigger ones for the other tanks, but it has this plastic media in there that's really good for getting that beneficial bacteria, and it cycles it, and it also provides a bunch of aeration to the tank, and there's sponges built in as well. This is a discus tank that I set up. You can see this guy right there. There's another one here, and then there's a blue phantom pleco that's hiding somewhere. This tank is already dirty. I did a water change about 2 days ago, but these guys poop a lot, probably because of how thin they are and small stomachs. But I clean it up, I feed them well, they get beef heart, and they get these Hikari pellets as well. Down here in the bottom tank is a nice community tank with some dragonstone, some driftwood, and there's a bunch of different types of fish in here. We have blue gouramis, we have silver dollars. There are also some cherry barbs, some tiger barbs, some zebra danios, some neon tetras, a pictus catfish. There are some plecos in here, and there's a quarry right there, and somewhere in here are a bunch of little shrimp. There's some cherry shrimp. There's a nerite snail in here. He's hanging out. He's doing his thing, cleaning up. And it's a cool little tank for me. I really like it. It's really cool watching them all swim around, and since I'm mainly into African cichlids, I wanted something different. So this tank would be really cool to see as the plants grow. I'm using this aquarium co-op fertilizer in here. I did have other plants, but they didn't make it. This isn't the best substrate for plants. It's more of it's a pH neutral substrate from Carib Sea, but hopefully these plants will survive with the help of the aquarium co-op fertilizer. Here we have a 140-gallon tank that I just got. Hector from Paul Cafero's channel is actually gonna come over. I think he's coming tonight, and we're gonna discuss how to build a stand for this tank. I mean, it's gonna weigh about 1,300 pounds when it's filled with water, substrate, and rocks. So we gotta think of something that's safe, that's gonna hold the weight, and also allow me to have the canister filter, as well as some other tanks below it. This is a tank that isn't being used right now. I did have feeder fish for the gulper catfish that's over there. So let me go ahead and take you around the corner so you can see a little bit more. All right, so here's another African cichlid tank. There's a bunch of them in here, all really healthy and happy. This is the same tank that Paul just set up, that I helped him set up at his house. I loved it so much that I got it for Paul. And this used to be my display tank in my office. I have the same piece that Paul has in his tank, and I have some zebra rock, some purple rock, and there are a bunch of different fish. There's OBs, there's Venusis, giraffe cichlids. Got a bunch of really nice OBs from the West Coast Cichlid Supply. There's some other red empress. There's a red empress OB. There's another red empress right in the corner there. One of my favorite fish. There's a blue dragon blood. There's some super reds as well. An albino super red, or I think that's an albino super red. And there's a couple of mbunas in here. There we go, there's one, there's another. And if I see anything wrong, I will remove them. And I have a buddy who keeps mainly mbunas, so I'd bring him over to his house and he'd be happy to have them. There's a nice pleco in the back. You can see him hiding behind the Eheim heater. And I use a Fluval FX6 on this tank, in addition to a Penguin 450 bio wheel. I think it provides adequate filtration, maybe too much filtration. And I use this wave maker over here to help push the detritus over to the filter intakes over there. This, let me just turn the light on so you can see. Nothing special, it's a little lifeguard tank, about 4.8 gallons. I'm probably gonna move my crayfish into here. I really like the substrate. It's this sea chem fluorite black sand. It's mainly for plants, but it's also really nice, and I'm sure the blue crayfish will look really good contrasting against it. This is a tank that I have some live rock in. It's pretty nasty. I just don't want to get rid of the live rock. I feel like I should give it to someone who would like some live rock, who's local. It's another lifeguard 4.8 gallon, and originally, you know, I used to maintain it much more, and there was a clownfish in here which I rehomed with Tommy from Tanknicians. Tommy has it in his quarantine space, and I don't know what's happened with it, but I'll ask Tommy and let you guys know the next time. Over here we have the gulper catfish. Where is he? He's up there. He moves around throughout the day, does a lot of hanging out in his cave and in the corners. And there's a bunch of feeder fish in there that I keep well fed for him. And he eats when he wants to. Here is an African side-neck turtle. Tetra filter just stopped working, so I have the sponge filter in here without the tube. There are some crickets in here, and he was hunting them and munching on them earlier. I like to give him different things. He gets shrimp, he gets crickets. I tried giving him feeder fish, but he's not able to catch them. I also have some shrimp in there if he so chooses to eat them. Here I have a starry night cichlid that I got from World Cichlid Tank. Excuse me. There we go. He's under there. And this is a little quarantine tank I have set up. So he's gonna get pretty big. I will be moving him to a different tank at some point, but this is where he's hanging out for now. While I'm here, I'll go through and I'll show you some of these laundry room tanks that I have set up. My dog may bark, but it's all good. Hey, buddy. So these are the two Fluval Flex 15 gallons, both in white. And I think Paul and I might do a giveaway of one of these. So stay tuned for that. I'm gonna talk to Paul when I see him next, and maybe we'll do that. That'd be really cool. I think these tanks are really nice, especially if you don't have a lot of space. They're really modern looking. They're bow fronts. They come with the lighting on the inside, the filtration obviously, and this one is set up with black fluorite sand, some gray stone, some live plants. I was supposed to be getting a large order of fish a week ago, but because of inclement weather, they didn't come. So my buddy Rod at Predatory Fins, we placed an order through one of the fish farms in Central Florida, and I'm getting a bunch of fish that are going to go in here and some other tanks. So stay tuned for that video. It's going to be awesome. I'll go pick it up. I'll video, you know, picking it up from Rod's place and bringing it back here and unboxing them. This here are the African cichlid shell dwellers from Lake Tanganyika. These guys kind of look like little frontoses. Let me put the light on so maybe it's a bit better. There we go. So, oh, you saw them go in there. There you go. I was really hoping I would catch that on there. I have 3 of them in here. I feed them these very small micro pellets, and they seem to like it very much. And while I'm at it, I'm going to show you the office tanks just because I want to show you everything. So this is the Fluval Flex 32.5 gallon. I have it sitting on some marble on a wooden stand. And we have these Kyogre flamebacks. There's one, there's another right there. That is a German red. That is a Lawanda. That is a Taiwan Reef. And normally I don't put fish that come from different shipments into the same tank, but here I kind of wanted to make sure they were safe. The other fish were much larger. So I have them in this tank. You can see the algae growth has already started. It's time to do a water change. And I had to lower the lights because it was just way too bright in here. And I think they enjoy each other in here. So once they get bigger, I'll move them out. I'll put something else in here. But for now, they're good. So this is a 55 gallon. I have a fluval canister filter and a Marine Land Penguin dual bio wheel. I think it's a 350. We have the flower horn that Rodrigo at Predatory Fins gave me around Valentine's Day. He says, oh, go bring it home to your wife. Give it to her for Valentine's Day. And I had to explain my wife really isn't into the hobby, although she tolerates it. She allows me to have the 19 tanks, which is really cool. So I'm happy she's tolerant of them and she's supportive of my hobby, and she loves it. It's important to me and it's therapeutic as well. I mean, I work a lot and I work in this office, so having these tanks around me is nice, it's calming, it's relaxing. And this guy just has the craziest color. And we named him Valentino because Rod gave him to us for Valentine's Day. So really cool colors. I feed him feeder fish, shrimp, live and thawed, as well as pellets. So this guy eats a lot, poops a lot, but he's a really fun fish to watch, and hopefully he gets used to me a little bit more. Now he's coming to the front when I have food for him, but he's gonna get used to me, and I can't wait to see him get bigger. Now this is my pride and joy, the ProStar 150 tank. I've done a couple videos on this, and these fish are doing really well. About time for a water change. I'll probably do one tonight on this tank. It takes the longest because I also clean out the sump at the same time. Here, this is it's a, what's it called? A Lifeguard 8.4 gallon. I don't have anything in it right now. It's not gonna go here. I just put it here temporarily. And I'll figure something out, or if you guys have any suggestions of what I should put in there, let me know. I'll find a place for it. But it's a nice tank. Can't really put anything too big in there. It's already set up with the African cichlid substrate, so it has a high pH. So I could always change the substrate, but maybe I'll put something else in there in the very near future. So guys, I appreciate you watching. Thanks for the support. I know some of you came from Paul's channel, so Paul, I appreciate it. But stay tuned. I'm gonna start posting a lot more interesting stuff as well, and hopefully I can teach you guys something, and you guys can teach me as well. Comment below if you have any tips for me, if you have any suggestions, or if you have any questions. You can also hit me up on Instagram at @strictlyfishness, and I'll do my best to respond. Thanks a lot. Have a good one.